Whoa, little crooked. Hello, this is Sandy with needsaribbon.com, and I'm coming to you tonight with another edition of Let's Kit Together. And I'm just gathering some supplies off on the side. So for tonight's, actually, oh God, and my chair won't move now. Okay, I don't know what's going on with that. Okay, hold on please, people. Okay, guess there was a lot of booming. Anyway, hello, this is Sandy with needsaribbon.com, and I'm bringing you another edition of Let's Kit Together. And tonight we're going to do the Wreath of Blooms kit, item 162362, and that will be in the description later. And I'm not sure what tools we'll need or anything. If you've watched my other Let's Kit Togethers, we do it, I literally mean together. Grab your stuff, come join me. So I'm not entirely sure what is needed, but we're gonna go ahead and get started. I'm pretty sure most things come in here. I know I'll need scissors. And we'll get this cute little box to either store it in or use for gifts later. And don't forget with our cardboard boxes, like our other kit and paper pumpkin boxes, if you don't like what's on the outside, you can undo it, flatten it out, and remake the box to use for something else and decorate it. So no waste. So here is our kit, and this is what it makes. I know we'll need scissors. Beyond that, I'm not really sure. So I'm just gonna go ahead and open it up and let's get started. And like on my other Let's Kit Togethers, I like to look at all the instructions first. So I like to I generally always flip to the back page and take a look, because that's where your summary is. So it contains all the supplies for a wreath. It looks like it has some tear and tape, some brads, some twine. Maybe that's a tool, I'm not sure. Tool as in T-O-O-L, not in T-U-L-L-E. It says it's for the beginners. And the colors in the kit are Cajun Craze, Calypso Coral, Crumb Cake, Garden Green, Night of Navy, Pear Pizzazz, Petal Pink, Soul Saffron, and White. Okay. And I don't even know, I think this is a no stamping kit. Yep, must be a no stamping kit. Ooh. Okay, so our instructions, let's just go over those real fast. Ooh, it's saying possibly a hot glue gun. Did not bring one, did not know. So we'll see how this goes, or if I need to pause and go get a hot glue gun. So we'll have to do some shaping with the balloons. They're using a pen. I brought my bone folder. I've also got my Take My Pick tool. There's other things that I have within handy reach. Didn't know I'd need a glue gun. Does it say that on the back? Beginner, learn basics. Okay. Doesn't say on the back. I don't know. Maybe that's for best success. We'll just take a look. So it looks like we've got some shaping. We got some shaping of petals. Then we've got some hot gluing possibly. I may have another solution for that. To wrap the twine around the wreath form. Okay. Well, let's get started. So I'm going to go ahead and, yep, let's hope that I'm still in screen. Here is our wreath, and it is paper covered on one side with some kind of crumb cake type paper. It is a box board, they call it box board wreath. But yeah, it's got some kind of paper covering, you know, DSP pattern paper type on one side, so it isn't just the raw box board. It was hard to tell from the picture. We've got our little leaf things. I've taken out our instructions. I'm going to set this aside, and I suggest you do the same. We've got some glue dots for something. We've got tear and tape. I have more tear and tape handy should I need it. We've got some loose brads. We've got some string. I'm going to keep the loose brads in here in my little bag, as you should too. Looks like we have some small and large sizes, and see, one is navy, the rest are so saffron. We're going to set those aside. I assume they're used for the center of the flowers by the instructions. We've got some really pretty, kind of very vanilla-y thick baker's twine. I'm going to set that aside. I'm going to set my wreath aside for now too, and let's break into it. So this is one of those that I can already see might have been, yeah, I'm pretty sure Stampin' Up! Has a video on this. Sorry for all the ums. I'm going to go ahead and, so our first flower we're going to make is this Calypso Coral Petal Pink one. Don't ask me to name some kind of tropically looking flower. I don't know. I'm not a horticulture person. So we're going to go ahead and I know we're going to, I just can tell, yep, we'll need a brad. So we'll need this, and we'll need, I'm going to set this aside, and we're going to go ahead and grab our other supplies for this flower, which is this Night of Navy spiky looking mum type thing, and this other one with the round pieces. So for our first flower, which we're going to begin working on, you need the 3 Calypso Coral Petal Pink flowers and these 2 Night of Navy centers and 1 brad, and I can't tell which size brad we'll need. Given the size of the flower, just a wild guess, we'll need one of the big yellow ones. Yep, again, that flower number 2 uses 3 of the small ones. So we'll use, so we need to, first thing we need to do is shape our flower. And they're using a pen. I'm going to use a bone folder because that's what I had handy. So they want us to curl. Bone folders work great for this, by the way. So it looks like we're supposed to curl the petals. So just take your thumb, put your bone folder between your thumb and your forefinger if you've never used one. Or you can even use, be a little riskier, with your scissors closed, you can do it that way too, if that's what you have handy. So we're going to want to shape those petals. So we're building it to make it look like a more real flower. And that's the top layer because that was the smallest. And, you know, another, whoa, just look at that. They're two-sided. What the heck? Oh, because when you, okay, yep, that makes sense because you could use it either way, and depending on how you peel your, how you roll your flowers. And if you are just joining me, I will catch comments. I will try and catch them during. If not, I'll comment offline later. But I'm not ignoring you. It's just, okay. Okay, I can dig that. So we shaped our first flower. I'm going to give, oh, this is two-sided too. Are they all two-sided things? They must be. Whoa. Okay, that is pretty darn cool. Our leaves, yep. Whoa. Okay, people. That's pretty cool. I'm going to go ahead, I'm going to run these. I'm just going to keep going in the same general direction. Here's why. Because this is two-sided, I can flip it up like this, which is what I plan to do. And this one too. So doesn't really, it looks like, matter which. So I'm going to stop right there, take a sip of water, because I went pretty fast on that, and grab my brad. and my big yellow brad, and let you guys kind of catch up if you're playing along, or if you're watching later and playing along. I really like this kit. We had a wreath one in Paper Pumpkin, oh, so many years ago, that I really liked, and nobody else did. It was probably one of the most revered, hated Paper Pumpkins ever, but I really liked it. I don't generally hang wreaths in my house. I like them though, so I don't know. Part of it is I have a love-hate relationship with then storing, like if you have a wreath on your front door, storing it, you know, in Christmas and other times like that. But I really do like wreaths. Okay, so we're saying hot glue. Why do we need hot glue? I'm going to grab my green glue, my Tombow multi-purpose adhesive, and some more Terran tape, maybe Stampin' Seal Plus might have been better. Do I have one handy? Stampin' Seal Plus. That's really strong adhesive too. So I've got my flower pieces. I'm actually going to buck their directions a little bit. Only mildly, because otherwise I'm going to have pieces flying all over here in no time. I still want to know. I assume it'll tell me what this is at some point. Anyway, I'm going to go ahead and assemble my flower. So this would be the top of the flower plus the brad. So you're using your big So Saffron brad. Come on, go in there. And make sure you have your flower with the smallest. You're building from the smallest to the largest of the Calypso Coral Petal Pink flower. And I'm going to set that aside because it looks like we have some work. Yeah, that's really cute. And we'll be able to bend it some more. That is some really stiff. It's not cardstock weight, but it is pretty stiff paper. I don't know what weight paper it is, but if cardstock weight's 80 pounds, you know, printer paper is about 20 pounds. I'm going to guess this is about 50, kind of an in-between, but I don't know, it might be 60. It's pretty stiff. So it looks like we have some work to do. We need to grab our leaf sheet. All the leaves come on one sheet. Whoops. But we need these anyway. So that one punched out. So we need the 4, looks like pear pizzazz leaves. So punch those out of your sheet. Keep everything on the sheet until you're ready to work with it. It just makes it easier and makes it not get lost. So since these are, all 4 leaves come with a score mark. If you can kind of see that. You know what? My lighting's bad too. Is that better, people? That's a little better. Ooh, my light's really warm too. Oops. Now I'm moving everything around. I'm sorry. That might be a little better. I don't know. But they come with a score mark, so I assume that's to kind of do, again, you could take your bone folder too and bend it a little bit this way and then give it a little life that way to kind of give it a more realistic shape. You could even do that. Something like that. I'm going to do that. Actually, I'm going to flip the little ones up from away from the score mark. And yeah, we'll kind of curl those like they're just emerging. Like I sound like I know what I'm talking about with greenery. I don't. I just bought some new house plants recently. one of another pothos. I had one which I've had a number of years and haven't managed to kill it. I used to have the greenest thumb. I just, oops, that one I meant to do that way, and the bigger one I'm gonna turn it down. So yeah, don't be afraid to give your paper a little life. See how I went from flat to slightly more realistic looking? You could even do more. And I don't know what their those are score marks that they have on the instructions. I don't know which way they mean for them to fold. I don't really care. But it looks like our next step is to either use hot glue or some kind of glue or adhesive and put I need to go back and look at the original picture. Okay, so we're gonna put, I'm gonna guess, the 2 big leaves underneath the big Calypso coral flower. So maybe we only need 2, and I'll put those aside. I misguided you. I'm even okay using green glue for this. Hot glue obviously is faster, but this stuff sets pretty dang fast. And I know that will get hidden, so I'm not super worried about that showing. If I had a Kleenex, I have a baby wipe handy. Wipe off that excess. And there we go. We're going to set that aside. I'm actually going to skip the next part of part 2. And I'll tell you why. And that's one of my first tip of the night. Again, I've never looked at this other than to order it. And I'm like, oh, looks cute. It's a wreath. But what I'm seeing on the instructions, I'm going to want to, it's going to take just a few seconds. I'm going to add those leaves after I've placed that flower or just before, so I know exactly where I want them oriented. So I'm going to skip that step of step 2. And that's my advice, is to, I've got all this adhesive sitting all over. Goodness, what a mess. Step 2. So step 3 has us playing with the tiny flowers, which it looks like we need all 6 of, remember these are double-sided, printed the same front and back, kind of. By the cutting, I'd say that this is the front, but it really doesn't matter. They're printed identically. It's just, I can tell from the curve/cut line. So we need, I did not need this. Oops. I just start punching stuff out. So we're going to just fake it and put it back in there so I don't lose it. We need all 6 of these little daisy-y looking, whatever, horticulturally insignificant. Yeah, we need all 6. Okay. And we need the green stem with the holes in it, which I assume means the brads go through. And we're going to set that. We only have 1 piece left on that sheet. So let's make sure our little holes are poked out. So these are the supplies we need, plus 3 tiny little So Saffron brads, which means we only have 1 brad left. That's okay. It'll all make sense in the end. I know it because I trust instructions. I'm going to close my glue because I don't know when I'll need it. So we're going to pick up our bone folder or whatever we're using to bend our paper, and we're going to play with these little flowers again. Remember, they're double-sided, so think about which way you want the petals to give them some life. Break that fiber of the paper up a little bit and make them look a little pretty. So, yeah. Again, you could take a closed scissors. They even say a pen to wrap the paper around. Whatever you've got that's handy, or I brought my take your pick tool. I don't think I'm going to need it, but just something more roundish or that can round the petals. I'm on number 4. Hopefully you're staying caught up. Some people are going to be faster at this and some need a little more time, and all of it is a-okay. So it looks like the next step is to assemble our flower. By the way, I noticed something. I did not, let's go back to step 2. I did not open my brad on the back yet. I think I'm going to go ahead and do that now. I feel pretty confident now. They didn't talk about opening it, but that kind of goes without saying. So it looks like what we do to assemble this one is we layer 2 of the little, I'm calling them daisies. I don't know what they are. Help me. Paper flowers, that's what they are. 2 of them. We put a little brad through it like that. And they have it going that way. So we're going to go with the way they have it laying. If you like, you can go that way. But I'm going to go that way. I'm going to follow the directions. And I'm going to go ahead and open my brad on the back. It looks fairly safe to do so. And again, we'll still have some time. So go ahead and do next flower. We'll have some time to play with those flowers and give them a little more life. So adding flower 2 and opening that brad on the back. To open the brad, also you can stick your scissor in there. These actually are opening pretty easy. And put that in the last little hole. I like how they have a really nice pre-drilled hole for us. That's very accommodating. Now this one's, see, you can kind of work with it, or you can take your scissor and bend open the brad if you're having trouble. Okay, I think I'm going to leave that like that for now. We're going to see how that's going to lay on our wreath. So that's step 3. So we bent the flowers, all 6 flowers, and then stuck them together with the brad. Look at the back. Pretty easy. Number 4, we need tear and tape. Okay, so we're using this piece, So Saffron piece. Oh, wow. Those instructions are, I'm not going to say they're lacking. And again, this is two-sided, but it, not super obvious. I'm going to set my petals aside with my other flower. So what you're going to do is run tear and tape along one edge. It looks like you fold it over, and then we're going to roll it up, and they used hot glue. I'm not. I'm probably going to use green glue or some tear and tape or something, or Stampin' Seal. We'll decide when we get there, because that's a fair amount of tension on that, because then we're going to roll that up. But what I'm seeing here, what I'm going to do ahead of time so I don't muff it up, I'm going to go ahead and pre-fold this in half. And there's a method to my madness. Yep, we're just going to fold it right in half. It doesn't have to be perfectly in half, but to give it some kind of, we're just basically breaking that fiber up a little bit. I'm not going to give it a really, you know, we want them a little loopy, it looks like that. But I'm just going to go ahead and pre-do that and open it back up. This is just instinct that I'm going with this idea based on what I'm seeing. It's called another Another tip time with Sandy. So we need tear and tape. You can either tear off the whole thing at once, or you can do it in little pieces if that's your comfort level. Run it along one edge of the inside of your, I assume this is the center of a flower. I don't know. Like that. Press it down. Make sure it's on there really good. I'm sorry, I have a bracelet on with a dangly thing on, and it's kind of making extra noise tonight. I'll be more careful next time. So, hopefully you've caught up to that. You've bent your paper a little bit in half, and then added your tape. Now we're going to go ahead and release that tape. Again, it's not real clear on the instructions. That's why I do these Let's Kit-togethers. And we're going to go ahead and match up those edges. Doesn't have to be perfect, so it's not going to show because it looks like we're going to roll it now. So now we have a strip that's kind of bubbly based on what I'm seeing, and they used a little hot glue to get this started. I'm going to use a little bit of their tear and tape just to give it a little start. Again, you could use tear and tape, you could use a little hot glue. The hot glue is good because it sets so fast, and if I need to go back in and hot glue it, I may have to pause things because my hot glue is not at my craft table. It is put away, and I don't know what shape because my son borrows it a lot. So now we're going to release that tape, or if you were using hot glue, you'd put a little bit of hot glue there, and we're going to start to roll it up. Like that. I think it might be easier to do this I actually want to look at the... Okay, so it's not a real tight roll. I am going to roll it tight. I'll tell you why, to break the fiber up. In fact, one thing you can do, you're not going to be able to see me do this, to break up that fiber since it's a loose thing, you can run your paper and pull it along the edge of your table just to kind of help break up that fiber. So I'm going to go ahead and roll it tight. I only have tape on the one end, so it's not tight right now. I'll be able to play with it. Only the beginning is taped. So don't run tape along the whole thing. I don't think you're going to like the look of it. Like that. That's just too tight. So I think they mean for us to kind of loosen it up a little bit, give it a little air in there, based on what I'm seeing. I could be wrong. But a little looser, like that. And I'm going to put a little of the tear and tape that came with the kit on the end there. And release that backing. And just keep it here. I'll show you what I'm thinking. I'll show you the underside here. Just based on what I'm seeing that they want. Kind of on the looser end, that's the bottom. So not rolled super tight. And that really should hold it, but again, hot glue will. And then it looks like they took and kind of fluffed this out a little bit. Just kind of play with the paper. Give those paper flowers a little life. Just kind of open it up, which again looks like what they did. You could even kind of open up, I mean, you could even stick your bone folder, your scissors in those little loops and open those up a little bit more like that. Play with it. Find a look that you like. And there. Okay. So that was step 4, was that? Where are we? Now I'm all lost. all turned around here. That was step 4. So now we're going on to our page 2 of instructions, which would be step 5. And we're going to take and make our Calypso coral flower. So we'll bring over our sheet. We need 2 of these. We are now done with this. I'm going to set that aside. We need our little yellow center, which we're done with this sheet. Pre-did already accidentally. And we'll need the navy brad. So far this kit has been really easy. I'm liking it. Okay. And everything's pre-cut and pre-stamped and pre-colored for me, so it makes for, we'll call it easy crafting, but lazy crafting would be another way to say it. So we need to take our bone folder, whatever you're using in place of a bone folder, and bring some life to these petals too. It's kind of a Cajun Craze Calypso Coral flower. Get that center out because we know we're going to be sticking a brad through that one. And I'm actually going to go back in. Again, it's two-sided. I'm actually going to go back in and give it a little life that way. How about that? And maybe that one too. It's paper. You really can't do a lot of damage to it. So have some fun. Bring some light. Put your own creative spin on this flower. So I'm going to keep putting life in these. Okay, I'm going to set my side tier. There it is. So what we need to do then is put our flower together. And you certainly have time to catch up. Or come back. If you're following along, or kitting along as I like to say. We'll stick the brad through the center of the yellow. That's paler than So Saffron, but we'll call it So Saffron. And stick it through our flower. And it looks like it's safe. Oh, that's pretty. To open up our brad, we can always close it if we need. Open it up and kind of hold things in place. Okay. So I'm going to set that aside. I'm going to set my little, whatever you call that, aside. And it looks like we need to bring in our last 2 small leaves. And, oh, they want us to directly attach. Okay, so we've already given those life. So yeah, as they say, crease. Well, we've done more than crease if you were following along. Giving them life. Make them look lively. Make them look... Give them a little real feel. Okay, so it looks like we can, if we want, go ahead and attach those to the back of our Cajun Craze / Calypso Coral flower. Like that. I'm going to do that. I'm going to just use green glue. You could use the tear and tape that comes with the kit. You can use hot glue, whatever your comfort level is. And I'm going to put one of those on. I'm actually going to kind of look at that. How sneaky is that? Stick it a little bit underneath the brad to secure it until that glue holds. So there are many ways to, as they say, skin a cat. So I'm going to go ahead and put another little glue. And I'm going to offset it. I'm not going to put it directly across. Put a little bit. Like that. That's good. I'm good with that. And again, that brad holds it in place a little bit and keeps it from being knocked around. So there's our 3rd flower. Fourth. Something like that. And we'll set that aside because we're moving on. That was step 6, was the flowers. or the leaves on the flower. Step 7, my triangle piece that I've been wondering what it is, Sahara sand colored something. So we place it like this. Assume I'm done with the bone folder, possibly done with scissors, probably not done with the tear and tape or the glue. So we need to put, according to them, a little hot glue or some kind of adhesive in with your triangle facing down in that corner, in those 2 corners. I'm going to let that sit and get a little tacky and let you guys catch up a little bit while I take a sip of water. So I think also while that's getting tacky, I'm going to go ahead and play with my Calypso Coral / Petal Pink flower a little bit and flatten that out a little bit because I put a lot of curve in that. I liked it though, but I know it's not going to sit on the wreath well with that. And I guess we can go ahead and yeah, their directions are, that's okay. I get it. I can keep up. I'm going to go ahead and attach this. Again, a little bit of glue. I'm just going to use the green glue. I'm going to try and take advantage of one of the sides of the brad to kind of hold that in place. Again, between the glue and the brad, it's pretty secure. It's not like somebody's going to be coming up and playing with the wreath hanging on your wall or your door. So we have flower 1. It looks like we can, I don't want to get gluey. It's setting. So we can go ahead and now we're going to build, it looks like we build our little bouquet on our triangle. So go ahead and boy, I think to see things, I'm going to bring my triangle up. And you know what I'm going to do, people? One adhesive I did not bring to the table, but I think I'd like on the back of this, is some dimensionals. I think I'm digging the dimensional idea. Again, you know, hot glue, you can use the tear and tape, you can use green glue, you can use Stampin' Seal Plus. Lots of options for what you have. We've got, now my fingers are all green gluey. I'm going to go ahead and, yep, we're going to build our little bouquet. So we've got that on. The glue will help, the dimensional will help, also gives it a little lift. And I know dimensionals are pretty darn strong. I've talked about this before. My son comes down and uses a lot of my stuff, and I'm okay with that. Because Stampin' Up! Does have some pretty darn good adhesives. So they have the leaves kind of going like that, which is good because that kind of goes along with my dimensional placement. And okay, so are we good on that? So we're working on that little Sahara sand paper triangle that came with it. Now we're going to go ahead and put hot glue or whatever our adhesive of choice is on the back side. If you look at the picture, on the back side of this flower. So go ahead and flip it over. I'm going to just use green glue because this is not a very heavy item. There's not a lot of tension on the back of this. And if we're looking at it this way, we're going to go ahead and just stick that down in there so the stem, so it pokes out. And now I'm going to push down where I think the, yep, looks like I hit it, where the stem is. So we've got that. I actually would like to shimmy that down a little bit more. They have it a little more poked up, but again, it's your bouquet. So that's where we're at. We're building our bouquet. So we just attached that one. The fourth step of step 7 is to attach our yellow globby thing. So this is really kind of your last chance to play with this one. You might be able to do some once attached, but I wouldn't advise doing a whole lot. I'm going in there with a closed scissors and just kind of opening those up to give them a little volume. Again, play with that a little bit. I'm happy with that. And they're saying they didn't say how they attached it. That's interesting. Okay, so they put a little hot glue there to attach that and a little glue on the back. That I'm happy with what I did. So they didn't say how they attached that. I assume not giving me a lot of room where, oh, I can move my flower just a little bit still. So hot glue would definitely work better for this. I'm gonna shimmy my flower around so I have a little more room on that Sahara sand triangle to place that. Don't really want to have to place it over a petal. I'm going to curl that up a little bit so I have a little more attachy room to attach. Yeah, hot glue would be the bomb on that. Also, a stapler on this would work very well too. So I'm a thinking. I'm a problem solver, right? That's like paper crafting 101. You solve problems all the time. You guys, I'm not entirely sure how to attach this without hot glue, and I really don't want to get up. I'm not liking that. You know what? It's okay. I'm done with that. Go away. I'm going to run a piece of the tear and tape that came with the kit across the bottom here to just kind of get it started. Peel that backing off. Again, what I'm doing is hot glue would be easier definitely for this. I made a paper flower like this years and years and years, like 2009-ish, 10, 11, somewhere in there. Long time ago, huge one. Hung on my wall. And hot glue was the du jour adhesive. I think what I'm going to do is, call me crazy, put a big old blob of green glue down there, keep the other flower out, and I think we're just going to go ahead and hold it in place until it starts to set while we take a look at the rest of our instructions. So we built our little flower bouquet. Step 8 is to play with the green ferny looking leaves while we hold down our flower. I'm not even sure that's gonna, I'm gonna put a little, attached to my grid paper here too. I'm gonna put a little green glue in there too. And green glue, once it sets, is actually a really darn solid adhesive. So just keep that in mind. So I'm going to go ahead and pull these off the sheet while this sets. I think I can set that aside for a minute. I have to come back and hot glue later. And if you do, you know, that's fine too. We're going to set that aside because we're done with that. So we need to give I'll push this out of the way. We need to give a little life to, oh, they're not scored. So we need to give a little life to these. So again, I'll be using my bone folder for this. I'm just going to do some random, got green glue all over my hands, malleating of these. I don't really know how they're attaching, but let's give them a little life. It's looking better already. And I assume we go probably in the opposite direction. Looks like it. So bend in the opposite direction, I guess. And just give a little life to those green, garden green leaves. Like it's a real garden. Okay, we're going to set aside the bone folder for now. Yep, I'm still in camera. Just want to make sure because I've been moving all over. So that was step 8, to give a little life to those. Step 9 is, they're saying hot glue. I'm going to see if I can pick this up a little bit. Set that over here. I'm going to set these over here because we need to bring in our wreath form now. And our thick, very vanilla baker's twine. And I'm assuming we'll need a scissor, I'm not sure. Okay, so they have the instructions have us place a starting point on the baker's twine. So it looks like we're at like the 10 and, I'm going to call it 10 and 2 o'clock, like it's a steering wheel. I think that's a good assessment. And I'm actually going to use a little piece of the tear and tape that came with the kit to get that started. Only. So somewhere like 10 or 11, 10:30. Call it 10:30. Peel your backing off because that's what I'm going to do. And let's put the little end on the back. And then we're going to wrap. And we need to save. And I should have done that. Yep, let's do that right now. It says, according to the instructions, we need to save a 7.5 inch piece. We'll cut it off the front for the hanger. Okay, so I'm using grid paper. They have also, because it's a universal kit, in centimeters and inches. So 19.1 centimeters. A hunk. I'm just going to cut it off right now. It's just less to deal with. So got that aside and come back to my wrap job. Okay. Okay. And I don't know if they want us to wrap it tight or what. I mean, pull tight. I'm going to pull tight and it should be close together. So just start wrapping. I recommend leave it on the spool. It's going to make it easier. Keep that taut. Hope you're enjoying this kit because gosh, I really think it's cute. I have been waiting for this class. I've had the kit for quite some time and I have been waiting to do this class. I may order another one because, again, it was a very affordable kit. I will post the price once I post this video. I don't remember off the top of my head what it was, but was it somewhere around $13 or $19? Don't quote me on that. I will look it up. Or if someone knows and can post it in the comments. Very, very cute. This part is a little bit tedious, but cuteness comes with the price. Okay. Keep wrapping, keep wrapping, keep wrapping, keep wrapping. Ooh, I like this method more. Wrap, 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 and then push and pull. Ooh. Okay, I guess I'm done with my little spool. Keeping mine neat in one direction. Yep. I don't know how they got all of that and got it. Let me look. I want to look. Okay, so theirs really only goes from about 11 to 1, almost 11:30 to 1:30. Okay, so their instructions are a little overzealous with how far it covers, but if you look at the guide picture, it's a very different story. So it really doesn't cover as much. I've got this ready because I have a feeling I'm going to need it soon. I just want to see how far over this goes before I lay my tear and tape down. And I think I'm going to put this on the back side this time. I don't know why I put it on the front side the first time. I may have to unwind some. Yeah. Perfect. Look at that, you guys. Okay, so I'm going to back some off. That's okay. I should have marked where it went, but somewhere in there. Peel off your backing. This really should be more than enough to hold it. Wrap, wrap, and wrap around back. And I'm gonna fluff that a little bit. I'll trim that. It doesn't need to hang down. I'm gonna trim. Actually, we're gonna roll up. You know, you can roll up this tear and tape a little bit. I'm gonna roll that up to kind of give that a further anchor on the back. And I'm going to put a little tear and tape over here on mine. Again, if you're using hot glue, I'm a little bit jealous. Not too much, but a little bit. Little piece on this side to kind of give that, keep that a little hidden. Again, rolled up my tape a little bit to give it a little more of an anchor. So that's the back side. And now we need to, again, hot glue would be really good here, but I don't have hot glue. I have tear and tape or glue dots. Ooh, glue dots would be good too. But we're going to go with the tear and tape that came with the kit because I try and use the supplies that are on hand. We're going to roll up that a little bit like that. Make almost like a tear and tape ball. I'm going to use that to anchor that side. I'll show you again on this side. This is my methodology. Again, if I have to go back in a little, in a couple days with some hot glue, then I do. And that's okay. I put a little piece of the tear and tape on the back. It's not attached yet. Release that backing, kind of take and play up with that tear and tape and push that in to kind of make a ball and anchor that. See if my philosophy worked. It did! It may be a little heavy once we put the flowers on. In fact, we can even, since it's the back and nobody's going to see it, you can even take a little piece of tear and tape and go over. And don't have to release the back. Give it a little extra security. Again, I'm going to see how this does because I'm thinking it might be enough to hold it. Just really push that into those fibers of the, that feels pretty darn strong now. Okay, so final steps is we've done our little wreath thing. I gave you my tips. So step 10 is we're gonna, I need to take a sip of water, sorry. I don't know why they gave us glue dots. Never once did it tell us what to do with them. Maybe it's just additional adhesive. I suppose you could use that in place of the hot glue. They're glue dots. I don't know. I haven't needed them. I'm pretty comfortable with what I'm doing. But maybe if someone doesn't have hot glue, you could use these. Those would work too. Again, you get I can't add 30 in a kit. So that could do a lot. They're pretty strong. So flip our wreath over so it's upright. And they say hot glue, couple spots. So our wreath is offset. So here's where I may actually recommend, this is the only pen I have handy and that's okay, it's a Stampin' Blend. I'm actually going to mark, because it's going to get covered anyway, where I'm going to place this stuff. So our wreath is kind of offset. So let's actually, since I'm using grid paper, let's get this kind of centered. There we go. And that's actually not a bad tip if you have grid paper. So we're going to offset this. And I'm just going to mark a line where those two tips will go. Okay. Just as simple, anything to mark that. I mean, I could have even taken and brought my green glue over. So here is my thinking is they recommend a little glue here. I'm actually going to do a couple dots and then see how that goes. Yeah, I didn't realize that the leaves curved a little bit. So they follow your wreath form. Again, do that for the other one. Could probably even put a little back there. You could use the tear and tape for this too. There is no reason, or the glue dots, which I forgot came with the kit, and that's okay. I have my baby wipe handy. I'm just going to blot up that extra glue because I'm not sure what's going to show and what's not. But so we're working on step 10, part 2, or B. We've put some adhesive on our wreath form facing up. We've added our leaves. And now they say put a little glue along there. And I'm going to, ooh, I see why. That's actually on there pretty good. I'm not going to put any more glue down until I figured out where I want this thing to lay. See what I mean? Wow, that's just kind of hanging out there, isn't it? Okay, so our wreath form, I'm trying to eyeball where to put some glue. I'm going to be a little bit generous here. Yep, looks like I did pretty good there. And I'm going to hold that down. I'm okay with that. Till that starts to hold. And I hope you guys have been following along and enjoying this, because it really is a very cute and springy kit. With the flowers, I don't know what they are. Just saying. Okay, that's it for our steps, is that right? The last page just shows what comes in the kit. And the very last page shows that. So there's our wreath. There's my version. Oh my gosh. Look at that. Isn't that stinking cute? It actually, that's hanging pretty good. I might like to put a little piece of paper behind there to kind of support it, since it does. Let's flip it over and take a look. It does kind of hang out there. I mean, the rest of it feels super secure, but personally, I might put a little piece of paper. Let's see if I have it. You know what? Creative minds solve problems, don't they? How about that? Just use some of this. I'm going to cut a little kind of a circle-y thing. Hear me out here. Trim it down. Doesn't have to be a perfect circle. To kind of give that a little support. You see what I mean? How's that for being resourceful? I like that. We'll just hold that a minute. Problem solving. Crafter 101. Give that a minute. And I'll probably let this dry overnight before I hang it, but you see what I mean? That kept it from kind of sagging a little bit. This is so cute. Oh my gosh, this was fun. This was really fun, you guys. Hope you've enjoyed it with the Wreath of Blooms kit. Stay tuned for, I've already lost the item number. That's okay. And it'll all get posted when I post the video. Thank you for joining me for this fun Let's Kit Together. A different kind of kit. No cards today. Only crafts. And